Joe Biden didn't know anything about that. You're a conspiracy theorist. Actually, there's an interview where Hunter Biden himself, I can provide you the link, said he told his father about the job. You're saying the father knew nothing about it. That's a conspiracy theory, man. That was like other kids. That was like other kids. Beavis and Butthead style. When Mr. Anderson catches him. That wasn't us. That was other kids. What freaking planet, man, are you from? The Biden campaign is in a panic, Joe. They're in a panic because their fear now is if witnesses do get called, that little old Hunter may have to appear in this Senate trial. And once Hunter starts getting questions like, Hunter, did you in fact get a $50,000 to $80,000 a month with a Ukrainian natural gas company? Yes, sir, I did. Mr. Biden, by the way, you're under oath, so don't mess around. Yeah, I did get that job. Do you have any skills in the natural gas arena, Mr. Hunter Biden? No, not one skill at all. Matter of fact, I don't have any skills in anything, I don't think, but definitely not natural gas. Do you have any experience, Hunter, in Ukraine? Not really. Maybe I met a Ukrainian woman once or twice. But no, I don't really have any skills in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Mr. Biden. What skills do you have other than having a last name of Biden? That's really it. They're terrified. They're terrified. I'm telling you, they're terrified. So this is what happened. The Biden team, the campaign, they put out a memo yesterday, basically warning off the media, like, don't you dare ask about Hunter. And Joe, come on. This is one of those, this movie, everybody laughs at. We ever see the movie G.I. Jane? Demi Moore plays the, Navy SEAL candidate. Remember that? Well, she walks in to the commander of the base at the SEAL base, and she says, like, I don't want to make a statement here, and the guy like barks back at her, people who don't want to make statements don't make statements about not making statements. Apropos right here. If Hunter Biden's trying to say, and Joe Biden and their team, hey, Hunter Biden's not relevant, then don't make a statement about Hunter Biden not being relevant. You guys, tracking one of the? Just leave it alone. Zip it. Just shut up.
Conundrum.
They can't figure it out. They cannot figure this out. Just shut up. I'm not giving you guys advice, but your memo was an embarrassment. The memo was basically that. Don't you dare start asking questions about Hunter. This is a debunked conspiracy theory. So our good friend John Solomon, who has a great website, John Solomon Reports, put out a piece, again, showing that it's actually Joe Biden who's lying here, that we're not the conspiracy theorists, it's him. John Solomon Reports, headline, Joe Biden's conspiracy theory memo to the U.S. media doesn't actually match the facts. Now, this piece will be up at our show notes today. If you want to get our show notes and these great articles emailed to your inbox every morning, bongino.com/newsletter, subscribe there. We'd love for you to do that. We appreciate it. Excuse me. Please read this whole piece, though. I'm only going to go through 4 of them. There's about, I think, 8 of them in there. About how Joe Biden is in fact lying about him and his son and their potentially extremely corrupt dealings in Ukraine. Let's go through number 1. Biden wants you to believe they did not pressure the Ukrainian government to fire the prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, the Ukrainian who was looking into the company, Burisma, his son was working for, despite having no experience. It was a natural gas company. Biden wants you to believe there was no pressure. He's on tape. He's already on tape, as you can see from the Solomon piece, number 1. He's already on tape debunking this entire nonsensical conspiracy theory about Shokin. Why am I
Son
not
of a
saying
bee.
that? Johnson, there we go. Fact. I'm like, where is it? Joe Biden admitted to forcing Shokin's firing in March of 2016. Solomon says, and I quote, it's irrefutable. It's not a conspiracy theory. Joe Biden bragged in this 2018 speech, which he links to in the piece. If you need this, we're not playing the video again, folks. You played it 1,000 times. You can see it yourself. Yeah. He admitted to a foreign policy group that he threatened to fire the prosecutor. That's it, period. I have nothing else, color commentary, nothing to add to this other than watch Joe Biden debunk Joe Biden himself. We didn't pressure them to fire the prosecutor. Okay, dude, whatever. You're on tape. Are you alleging that it's doctored? That it's some kind of deep fake video? No, they're not alleging that. That's an easy one. He's on tape admitting to pressuring them to fire the prosecutor looking at his son's company. End of story. That's not a conspiracy theory, folks. All right, number 2, takeaway from John Solomon's report. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the other Biden conspiracy theories from Joe Biden is, listen, okay, the prosecutor may have been fired. I didn't really pressure them or whatever. But it doesn't matter because they weren't investigating my son's company, Burisma, when I made that comment anyway. Wrong. John Solomon reports, quote, fact. Shokin's prosecutors were actively investigating Burisma when he was fired. This is not hard. Quote, while some news organizations, I should add fake news organizations, cited by the Biden memo, don't you dare cover Hunter, have reported that the investigation into Hunter Biden was, quote, dormant in March of 2016. Official files released by the Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office, in fact, show there was substantial investigative activity in the weeks just before Biden forced Shokin's firing. Who are you going to believe? Joe Biden? Or are you going to believe the official Ukrainian files showing the fact that the investigation into Hunter Biden's company was actively ongoing when Biden was pressuring the Ukrainian government to fire the prosecutor looking into it? Who are you going to believe? The guy with the political motivation to lie who's been a liar his whole life, Joe Biden? Or are you going to believe the actual Ukrainian files? It's a conspiracy theory. No, you're an idiot. You're just a moron. I'm sorry. All right, quick one. Well, it's Joe Biden's team. Well, Joe Biden didn't know about his son Hunter's lucrative job in a Ukrainian natural gas company while Joe was the point man for Ukraine and his son had no experience in natural gas or Ukraine. Really? It's not what John Solomon's reporters found out. He did know. He actually discussed there's substantial evidence, by the way, according to Solomon, that Joe Biden and his office knew about the Burisma probe and his son's role as a board member. The New York Times, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Slime's left-leaning outlet reported in December 2015 that the Burisma investigation was ongoing and Hunter Biden's role in the company was undercutting Joe Biden's push to fight Ukrainian corruption. The article quoted the vice president's office. In addition, Hunter Biden acknowledged in this interview, which he links to, that he had discussed his Burisma job with his father on one occasion, that his father responded by saying he hoped the younger Biden knew what he was doing. That can't be, Joe. They're linking to an interview crazy, right? You and I have to be nuts.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Just to be clear, the Biden story, I knew nothing about this job my son had with this Ukrainian natural gas company. Yet Solomon's linking to an interview where Hunter Biden himself says, no, I discussed it with my dad. Are we all brain dead? That's a conspiracy theory. We linked to the interview. Are you this stupid all the time? Or seriously, is it just a Wednesday morning thing? Joe, nobody expressed any concerns about this with Hunter Biden in the government. It really wasn't a big deal. Joe, nothing to worry about, buddy. Son of the vice president's got this lucrative deal to work for a company he knows nothing about in Ukraine. Of course it's cool. Of course it's cool, man. Babe. Nobody said anything. They said babe, too. In the actual briefing, they said, babe, nothing to worry about. This thing is A-okay. That's the Biden story.
Okay.
Except that's not true either, because nothing liberals say or the media is true. Fact, multiple State Department officials testified that the Biden's dealings in Ukraine created the appearance of a conflict of interest. Here we go again. He actually links to this. Just thinking, because liberals, I get it. Your skulls are coated in an impenetrable lead-like substance where no facts can get through, but maybe, just maybe, this one will make it in. Here is the link in Solomon's report here. In House impeachment testimony, linked by Solomon, Obama-era State Department officials declared the juxtaposition of Joe Biden overseeing Ukraine policy, including the anti-corruption efforts. At the same time, his son worked for a Ukraine gas firm under corruption investigation, created the appearance of a conflict of interest. Wait, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So the Biden gaslighting effort is that nobody in the State Department ever expressed any concerns about my son's lucrative gig because he was his last name. Nobody said anything. Well, that's funny because Solomon has a link to the actual Obama State Department officials who said it gave the appearance of a conflict of interest and expressed concerns. Both of those stories can't be true. No concern, concern. No concern, concern. No concern, concern. They can't both be true. And of course, whenever there's two apparently conflicting stories, and one's the liberal media version and one's the conservative version, I can almost guarantee you if it was Sophie's Choice that you better damn well bet that it was the conservative version because the liberals are almost always lying to you.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 at DBongino.